I get your autograph? Right?
Yeah, something like that. Anyhow, spawning over in the top right-hand side of Glittering Ashes to get things going in this Team Liquid derby. It is Elazer.
And in the left-hand bottom side, it is for Team Liquid also with the Spider-Man outfit, Clem on the planche. That is the Spider-Man one, right?
I mean, it is red.
It is red.
You know, okay. I think it is the Spider-Man one. You know, I will never forget. Yeah, we just got confirmation from our producer. It is indeed the Spider-Man one. So, yeah, they have this Marvel deal going where they have a nice jersey featuring many of the much-loved superheroes in that verse. I'll never forget bringing up superheroes with Rotti. Kevin, did you ever get to see the movie Street Fighter? It was like an old movie back in the day.
No, I'm surprised that Kevin actually watches superhero movies.
Well, so he watched that because, you know, Kevin, he's more about like documentary type movies, like realistic movies. So yeah, the fact that he watched a lot of Street Fighter, but he thought, do you know much about Street Fighter at all?
I played Street Fighter 2 Turbo on like Super Nintendo.
but you know who the green guy is?
Blanca.
Okay, thank goodness. Kevin thought that was the Hulk.
That's amazing.
He was like, yeah, I watched that movie like 20 times when I was a kid. And I'm like, yeah, who's the green guy then? He's like, it's the Hulk. And I'm like, oh my God, you're such a spanner. Anyhow, okay. So Clem does start this game off in the Clem type fashion here. Oh, okay. Thank God there's a Reaper. I thought he was going Marine first. I was like, what the hell? That isn't Clem. But yeah, he'll very often sacrifice the few minerals that you have from scouting in this matchup just to make sure, just to affirm that, hey, I mean, it's a hatch first. Then he'll get the Reaper out, get the nice safety Marine at home. All that kind of jazz is something that we saw Hero Marine kind of skipping against Lambo a little bit. But yeah, Clem just feels so confident in his TVZ that almost without fail, he'll never skip that.
For sure. Elazer loses one Ling, to one of the best Reapers in the world. Has to be Clem's. But still, he doesn't want to lose that first Ling. Good position on the Lings in an alternate universe. Maybe he traps the Reaper.
Could be. And this game so far, Elazer's getting up the triangular third. It's a very textbook TVZ opening by both of them, and that's what we'll.
Oh no, the creep tumor's exposed. No, but the Reaper's a little bit too low to go for it.
Yeah, that was a little bit of dancing.
Yeah, a little bit of dancing there. Clem thought about it, but knows the limitations of his units. Probably knows that it would cost him the Reaper in order to kill that creep tumor.
Back in Clem's base is where we'll see a lot of deviation going on. He has a third TC already on the way. He went for the fast third TC with just one gas. Gets up the starport behind it. So he's going for a very macro-centric opener. And as far as maps go in this matchup, TVZ, this is definitely one of the more tricky ones for Terran. It's one that you don't often see in the best of threes just because it's quite large. It's quite brutal. Very often you have the choice of, well, which of the big maps do I hate the least? And like Pride of Altaris is definitely not that one. You hate that one the most, but this one is a bit of a Django as to whether you're going to play it or not. So this one definitely a nice start for Elazer here as far as maps go.
For sure. I think that it's nice for Clem though to go for the Banshee. The distance from base to base is not too exuberant here, and there's also no ramp leading into the natural expansion, so roaches can be an option for Zerg here. And the Banshee opening will account for any type of early game aggression that Elazer could throw at him, any sort of all-in involving roaches.
Yeah, certainly. Elazer's doing a nice job here, just kind of utilizing the high ground here, with Queens just sat in each position. Clem is going for Banshees. Does he have one out already? He does, and it is already making its way across the map here, that little blue splodge down in the south, and Elazer's got very nice vision. If we look at Elazer's vision of how he has his overlords spread and creep tumors and everything, he's doing a good job, and he sees that Banshee before it gets into his base.
Yeah, so he will be able to prepare the spores in a decent position there at the main. Maybe it could be one hex to the right. The Banshee is actually going to poke into the third instead. Haven't been spotted by 2 Overlords. It still gets away with 2 workers and not taking any damage whatsoever. So really nice start for Clem there.
Yeah, Clem constantly poking. You can see that his Hellions, for a lot of this game, have just been making sure that the creep, while it's doing a decent job, it's not getting anywhere close to that halfway point. And as good as Elazer has been doing is making sure these Hellions don't really get to dive in, Clem's been doing a super good job of making sure that creep don't get anywhere either.
Yeah, now 2 Banshees joined together, and the Twisted Sisters are going to look for additional damage here as 1 drone goes down. That is one difficulty of this map, expanding creep down the ramp. Not the easiest task in the world.
Yeah, just a couple of drones falling, but all of this adds up. Oh, here we go. A few Hellions, and those are a few barbecued boys over there. Those drones feeling the heat, quite literally. Spire, the choice of tech for Elazer here. That's always a bit of a tricky one, because I feel that you want to go Spire when you've taken no damage whatsoever. But on a map like this, I guess Mutaplay is damn good, the bigger the map.
Yeah, it's not super unsurprising, especially with the Banshees being out. They kind of like serve a double purpose, and that they have like sure targets to be killed out on the map already in the way of the Banshees. But if we look at the units, or as we just saw in the units lost tab, it's been all Clem so far, really successful pokes. But yeah, I mean, Elazer still, a great player, and he is still not going to be too slowed down, already at 73 workers. And it's all up to how he handles this follow-up aggression.
Really sick scam by Clem, by the way. Like, sometimes it's easy to get carried away with things, but he's been keeping all his units pretty decently healthed up just so he can utilize them later on. He saved all those Hellions for this attack here, and even though Elazer's decently positioned to hold off a lot of this, Clem knows what he's up against for sure, and so he feels that he can get away with an attack like this, and I think he's absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, the armor is not yet done for Clem, so that is one saving grace for Elazer, but both of the Banelings got taken down. Baneling speed is nearly ready. The Mutas are not out, but there are no Banelings on the field. Elazer has to look for this army here of Clem. He's going to surround it somewhat, but it's well tucked in between the minerals as well. With the Muta help, as well as the Queens, Elazer will be able to displace this army and make it run away. The Banshees at the same time are going to go into the natural. As you can see, the drone tally has begun to rise up to 11 now. The Muta will find one of the medevacs. The second one will be killed, but not before a few Marines unload, all to their deaths in the way of those chasing Zerglings.
All things said and done, Elazer does survive and didn't die to that push, which very well could have done. But he did lose quite a lot of workers, which he couldn't super afford to do, but he's taken the time now to drone back up. 2+2 weapons has started for Clem. +2 armor will start very shortly as well. He's usually pretty damn good about hitting those beats. Turrets have started for him as well. 4 production, drilling claws. And guess what? +1/+1 hasn't yet started for Elazer, as I say that just now.
Benjamin Bakir, I have a question actually.
All right, Paulo.
As the attack began, we saw the armory of Clem at about 20%. Do you think that there's any chance that he could have actually gotten that earlier? I mean, is it that expensive of a building, or could it have been accounted for that first attack? Because I feel like with that many Hellions, if they had the opportunity to morph into Hellbats right there and then, his attack is that much deadlier, right? Like, especially with the Banelings being as late as they were.
I think in an ideal world, if he knew that his opponent literally had 0 Banelings, then absolutely. It could have been a little bit earlier or waited for the attack. It's just, that's not one of those things you can bank on happening, I don't think.
Yeah.
So he chose his time to go, still got a bit of damage, but yeah, oh, lovely Widowmine position. Very well could have killed him if he waited or had that armory a little bit earlier. That being said, Elazer trying to get some counter damage done. But Clem's army's fierce, man. Look, it's on the map. He might have a window where he's +2 damage against 0 armor here.
Yeah, those links are going to expose themselves to the mines, but at least no Banelings were hit by those mines. At the same time, on the other side, Elazer continues to harass with the Mutant. He has done a good job of that. Clem with small contingents of Marines, small pockets in the third and the main to negate those Muta from doing anything further. The Muta might look to try and come back to collapse onto this army at some point, as the creep still a decent launching pad for the many Banelings that Elazer has left over. This is still on a knife's edge, Benny.
It certainly is, but that one of mine was beautiful. It is +2 attack right now against 0 armor. Like, it doesn't get much worse for Elazer. Elazer is doing such a good job of just pumping out so many units and not really going down in supply. But the thing is, when he hits that 1-1, okay, now he's not down 2 upgrades, which was a massive deal. And he's done a good job holding, but that creep has been totally evaporated from this fighting place for Clem.
Yeah, and Elazer's not really making any effort to come from a different angle as well. He's all coming from the same ramp. A lot of the Muta do fall to the Thor and the fire of the Marine. So it's all those, all about these Banelings and Links left over for Elazer. And again, he isn't really making any efforts to flank. I feel like a flank would have done wonders for him here to try and collapse from multiple areas, because he keeps coming out of the same ramp over and over. And the Marines just have a very easy job to do, which is just to kite back.
Oh, and that Muta count, it was once very healthy. Now it's down to just 3, and it's pure Ling Bane at this point, behind an upgrades against a superior squad. No creep to fight on. I feel that this is Elazer's last hurrah. That Widowmine as well, Juicy Lucy.
Juicy Lucy indeed. Another Widowmine in the back there, all to tax Elazer as he tries to punish this army, an army that has already been wildly successful. That last Widowmine was active but doesn't manage to fire, and now Clem once again on the offense. I mean, maybe it's not the last hurrah. Elazer has done a great job of remaxing and remaking units non-stop, but it's not looking any easier. And again, just coming from one single angle. I'm not sure if I'm missing something here, Ben. Is there a reason not to go for a big flank here?
I mean, I think he should. I think he absolutely should. I guess I don't know what he's worried about. Maybe just Widowmines being scattered about, taking out his potential counters. But look at this splitting by Clem. The cost efficiency here. In fact, look at the units lost tab. It is almost twice as efficient as his Zerg opponent, and it's not going to get easier. He hasn't missed a beat. He's got 3-3 finishing up. Elazer thinks like, hey, I'm going to have 2-2 soon. That's going to be great, right? Look at Clem. He's even got many Sense Towers as well for defense. He is so prepared for the next stage of the game, but I don't think Elazer's going to be able to stand long enough for that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is a start.
Ooh,
the Muta are going to find that medevac. That is something. There's a lot of bruised up medevacs, and there is 3 overseers. So those Widowmines, if Elazer can drag fire onto those medevacs, perhaps with the overseers, that would be one way to make it back, or at least stop one of these attacks very cost effectively, right? Like we have like 4 of those medevacs that would fall instantly, basically, to 1 Widowmine worth of splash. Let's see as Elazer now angles to take on the next fight. Here, the Muta are gonna go into the main and find a turret, but not much more damage to fight after that. Now Elazer again from one single angle is gonna look to come with everything, and now going after the mines with the Zerglings. The Banelings are gonna lag behind, and now off of creep, Clem should have the time of his life splitting. He does have a lot of units still here. Elazer does have a lot of units himself. The Muta would do well to try and help here, as the Banelings have now all been taken care of, and it's just Lynx and Muta that remain. If the Lynx can clear or force these units into the medevacs, maybe the Muta can still punish. There's a lot of very weak medevacs still, Benny.
I mean, Clem's handling these fights so damn well, Cats. That Marauder wall there was so damn cool. Then he snipes the Mutalisk as well with the focus fire. That resources lost tab, it isn't getting better. Like, Clem is just trading so damn well. That Mutalisk count is up to 11. 0 Banelings on the map. This is now 3-3 bio. Ooh. Ghost Academy being added. A 5th base as well coming down for Clem behind all this. So this isn't an all-in, and that Widowmine, that is a good split by Elazer.
Yeah, but he's gonna need a lot more where that came from. I mean, this looks near unstoppable right now. Clem is setting up. Widowmine's now positioned far on to creep, and the confidence of the young man is shining through as it should. He does have this game in his hands, and it's gonna be near impossible, I think, for Elazer to recover as he tries to poke on with the Muta. 3 Banelings are extremely hopeful, but they're only gonna find 5 Marines in the back. The Thor now joins, and that has to be it for the gel-less Zerg.
You know what? I think Clem just played an absolute solid game there. Like the speed at which he brings to these fights, some of these engagements as well. That one of those last fights there, that wall of 5 Marauders that just tanked, and then all his other units were off creep. And then he's like, all right, I've just got Marines here. Let's snipe the Mutas, get out of here. He's just so damn cost efficient. And that is such a scary Terran to go up against. Like, he is one of the scariest because of you know what he's going to do. He just does it so damn well. And it's very Bjorn-esque from 2015-16 era, where you knew he's going to 2-on-1 you. It's just he's going to do it so damn well. And yeah, that is one of the better Zerg maps as well for Elazer going into it. So Curious Minds will be the second map. Notoriously, this has been, or historically even, this has been very good for Terrans against Zerg. So we could see an early 2-0 here if the stars align for Clem.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Elazer has to make a stand here for all of us, Ben, for the entire broadcast, for every player that has fallen before him. We cannot allow for more 3-0s to transpire as you drink your wonderful monster. What is it? A Fiesta something?
Absolutely, Fiesta. So James was in absolutely the same boat as me. It was like we swore and lived and died by the white one, but this one, oh boy, this one is the next level, baby.
The Ultra Fiesta, can you show it? I think I've had it.
Mate, if you'd have it, you'd remember it for life. It'll be on your tombstone.
I remember the purple one was one of my favorites. Have you had that one?
Oh,
Ultraviolet, I think it is.
Yeah, this one, Cats. This one.
You haven't had Ultraviolet though, have you?
Yeah, I had a whole crate.
Oh,
of
you
it,
have
mate.
had? Okay.
Yeah. So Ultraviolet, good. White one,
okay.
Amazing. This one, next level. All
okay,
right.
For me, it was white one, then Ultraviolet, and I guess I don't know the next level yet. I'll have to try that one.
Yeah, it's an experience that comes once in a lifetime, Cats, but I've had it. All right, Curious Minds, second map. Spawning over in the bottom right, representing Team Liquid, it is Elazer.
And also representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. The blue Terran in the top left-hand side. I feel like people can see that. Like, what if we start skipping the extras in the intros?
We start skipping the extras? What do you mean?
Like in the top left-hand side, he's blue.
Oh, but what about the people that...
the radio people.
Yeah, I'm one of those.
Yeah, I see. Fair enough, yeah.
If I lived in a warm place, I'd be out on the garden or on the beach, I'd have the phone on. But I wouldn't be looking at it because I'd be closing my eyes, basking. And that's when it comes to these good commentators, letting me know where things are. And
You're absolutely right. Top left-hand side, my friends at the beach.
Yeah, absolutely. Those people be thanking you right now, Cats. By the way, of all the names you mess up, so there's been Baka, and what else you've ever said? Benjamin. You don't say Clam.
Benjamin. I say Clam sometimes.
Clam is the best one, dude.
That is true.
Or Mikolaj, or
Nikolash.
I was going to say Elazer, but that's exactly how I say it normally. Couldn't mess that one up even if I tried.
Who's your favorite character from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Ben?
The main guy.
Andy Sandberg?
Yeah, Jake Peralta. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, my girlfriend says that he's basically me. Or I'm basically him.
I don't think so. No.
And I'm like, what? Yeah, she says it all the time.
That's incredible. All right, Reaper's
she's a bit like Amy.
Is she really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, like, I think Rose is really cool. In fact, they're all really cool and very likable. I like the captain as well.
Captain Holt is probably my favorite. I would say Captain Holt. Gina's amazing.
To be fair, if you told me, hey, remove any one of them, I mean, it would have to be the Hitchcock dude and the other guy, but even those
Scully,
I appreciate.
Hitchcock and Scully. Yeah. For me, it would be Boyle, actually.
I'm
not a huge fan of Boyle. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, mate, you're...
And I think that Amy is my least favorite character of the ones that I really like, basically. But I feel like her dynamic with everyone is so good. Like,
I don't think I could remove any one of them, dude. I don't think I could at all.
It's a great show. So if you guys haven't watched it, I guess watch that. Get yourself a Monster Ultra Fiesta. And set up some popcorn or something, I guess.
I thought you were going to say, go watch some Brooklyn, but it's like, Cats, we're watching Elazer right now.
Not right. I mean, don't watch it right now. Just at some point, you know?
Later. Mate, I'm not going to be able to watch it now without thinking like, oh man, Boyle, Cats hates you.
I mean, he's not that great.
And you, oh my God, stop. Blasphemous.
All right, Ben. Well, we are in this game before the people at the beach start freaking out. Nothing has happened. If you're at the beach, chilling and listening to the cast, you're welcome if you haven't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm sure you appreciate our enthusiasm if you have. But yeah, Cloak Banshee once again. So Clem playing this very, very safe.
Cloak Banshee is very nice for just being safe against your opponent, because of any of the builds that you can super die to, like there's obviously these little roach timings that you can do, and the one thing you don't want to run into is the Banshee. So the Banshee just kind of feels like, all right, if I think I'm better than my opponent, it kind of means that I'm not going to die to a lot of those weird offbeat timings by you. But also, Banshees do allow you to really come into your own when it comes to Hellion harassing in one spot, Banshee harassing in another.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like they have so much value from a player that can afford to pay attention to them and babysit them, and that is, I mean, Clem in a nutshell, right? Like he's gonna look for those little angles. He can look to make sure that the Banshee is not getting shot at, that it's barely out of range of a spore, and just pick off drones here and there. It's gonna poke here, but good from Elazer once again with a nice perimeter of Overlords and Creep in tandem with each other. Will spot anything that comes close to him, and Cloak is not done yet, so it's very difficult for Clem to avoid those. As a result, the Elazer has the queens in position to deject the first poke. Second Banshee about to join her sister, though.
Yeah, for those twisted sisters, as you called them. Doubler eBay on the way for Clem, along with extra barracks here, so he's really knuckling down on his bio, and that's one thing that we do love to see that he's good at. Or we love to see from him because he's so damn good at it. Elazer is droning up like a madman, as he should be. Zergs really want to get a good eco going, and that fourth base being cancelled by just a couple of Banshees, that's not actually what you're after.
Not at all. And yeah, the Spore tried to be repositioned there, but it wasn't able to be in time. Instead, there's a Spore here, at least to buy the Queen some time to get back there. But the next hatchery, again, unaccounted for, so these Banshees should get another cancel onto it.
Yeah, this is starting to get a little bit gnarly for Elazer, because even though he's got a decent drone count, 62 versus 57, he's not got anywhere to make or anywhere to send future drones that he really would like to be making. And what has he got here? Does he have a Spire? Let's have a look-see. No. What's his tech of choice? So far, it's just Ling Bane, and it's going to be behind on upgrades. Like, it's a kind of late Baneling speed, late upgrades. He really didn't want to be in this position, so now he's having to take fourth and a fifth simultaneously. So already been thrown off what he really wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, the good things for Elazer here is his creep has been very good. The Hellions really haven't been able to put much of a stop to that, and it is spreading very evenly throughout the entire map here. The creep tumors in the middle haven't been too active at the moment, but on the left-hand side, I mean, he should be well protected. So while it is an early fifth, it is at least going to be defended by creep. Clem is going to look to make something about that, look to do something about that, as there's a squad of units ready to try and clear some creep.
Is that it's not cancelled? That's actually quite a lot of resources lost there. This was like the most random little attack, by the way, and it gets a little bit of damage done. I mean, if that CC was actually cancelled, it would have been really bad for Elazer, I think, overall.
Really bad.
Look at the resources lost tab.
Yeah.
500 resources lost. That's just like 1 CC and 2 SCVs, whereas Elazer lost a lot. I'm not sure what you're hoping for with that.
Yeah, I mean, it was right before Baneling speed was done. The tank barely survives with 1 HP, so that could have been a lot better. And 1 Baneling connects onto the SCVs, but not any more Banelings. Elazer, I think, over-microed a little bit as well, where he kind of sectioned off a portion of the Banelings to not take tank fire, and it made it so that they arrived so much later because they don't have Baneling speed that only 1 of them connected onto the SCVs. So, yeah, I agree. If it wasn't for the CC that he basically killed, this would have been completely terrible. As it stands, though, not the worst thing in the world, but Clem still with a supply lead.
Clem does so well with the splits, man. Like, you think, oh my god, what's he going to do with this? And then it's just like, oh, yeah, of course. And then it's like he just trades efficiently. Elazer buying himself a little bit of time, but behind this, he's actually getting behind in workers, which is not what you want when you're a Zerg player. Like, he's almost putting himself in this all-in position. But Clem is ready for that, I feel. Like, look how much he has behind. And it's just like, he's more than prepared for all of this, Cats, I feel.
Yeah, already pre-splitting his army as well on creep here, as Elazer is going to look for a little bit of a drop with those banelings. Okay, finally, Elazer with good connections there at the front. Clem not ready, not yet sieged. The Widow Mines were not burrowed, and a small clump of Marines will pay the price as Clem continues to push on forward on creep. Elazer with an opportunity, but he is lagging in supply.
By the way, Clem is one of the only Terrans I've seen in this matchup where he feels that he can get sensor towers. And maybe he gets to react in time against this Baneling drop now. I say that, but no, not at all.
Beautiful. Nice job from Elazer as well, sectioning those Banelings 2 at a time rather than dropping all of them. So that ends up being really nice. 13 workers have fallen. A few more perhaps to follow if Elazer pays attention to it. It will be one more actually to make it 14. However, the front is still very scary. Clem has continued to push the creep here to where Elazer is going to have a little bit of trouble launching himself out of creep. Here comes the attack. Widowmine somehow tracks that. I thought those were well out of range, Benny, but the Widowmine gets a bunch of circlings there in the back.
These Widowmine drags have been brutal, man. I don't know if Clem's refocusing in them and getting really fortunate or what, but I think he is refocus firing to where he thinks they're going to run away, but this is so hard to stop. This is 2-2 Terran now against 1-1 Zerg, kind of a similar story in game 1. And this position, Cats, like, these Queens getting totally sectioned off. Look at this concave he has ready for all this Zerg. It is just not looking good for Elazer.
It is looking pretty awful for Elazer. He is lagging now 40 supply behind. There never seems to be enough Banelings. Now some Banelings have been made, but no links there to really help them. Finally, a decent connection for Elazer, but it seems like it's a little too late as a lot of medevacs still are left over. Maybe Elazer gets a cleanup onto the tanks and the front line, but at what cost then?
Pretty damn crucial cost, and look at that. Even lifts up the Widowmines. I mean, that was quite enthusiastic, it's got to be said, but these Widowmines will get off onto these Queens, and the Queens fighting pretty damn strong. Going to be picking off a few of these medevacs as well. Feels like Clem kind of outstayed his welcome a little bit.
Maybe a tiny bit, but there's no Overseer. Okay, there's an Overseer now, but the Banelings actually connect onto the mines. Elazer with a little bit of an attack move with his eyes red, wanting to go after those medevacs, but instead it's the Banelings that get caught onto the Widow Mines in the back. Good Baneling burrow here, but it doesn't quite connect as Clem's gonna sidestep it just by an inch there. And still it's Elazer 30 supply behind, trying to fight for dear life.
He really is fighting for dear life here. He's got quite a few Queens still alive that can take out the medevacs and just buy time against the Marines. And he's getting together quite a few Banelings here, trying to scatter them about, going to take good engagements, but Clem just sat baiting him at the edge of creep, and these Widowmines are constantly retargeting and getting huge connections, and now Clem 50 supply lead. Elazer's trying to hold on, but what can he do? Trying to get Baneling bombs as well, but there's just too much blue Terran here.
It is way too much blue Terran. On the other side, there's going to be a little bit of a Baneling ram-by, but I mean, it is too little avail. Right now, the win condition for Elazer is not to be found in economy, but rather stopping the army of Clem, and that seems like an impossible task for him at the moment. There is just too much Terran. 107 army supply versus 32. Barely any Banelings to speak of. If we pull up the army tab, it is more than 3-1.
Wow.
GG.
I mean, today has just been all the favorites coming out swinging, man. Like, Clem didn't finish top in his group, so he got to avoid Raynor in the match where Showtime took his place. Raynor, I mean, he finished second in his group as well, kind of avoided playing Clem here in a weird kind of way. Or like, it's all a little bit weird, right? But yeah, the favorites, what we thought at the start of the tournament that came second in their groups, they're doing really damn well. Cyril, actually 17-0 in maps right now in this online portion of the season. Just absolutely amazing showings. Like, these guys, they know when to peak, they know when to come alive, and Clem's he's not messing around here at all.
He really is not. I mean, that game was a little bit of a massacre, and it felt like it went in the early game a little bit better than the first one, at least for Elazer, right? Like, I can't recall any terrible happenings in the early game. It's just like, come the later stages, he just cannot seem to stop Clem and his splits and his Widowmine retargets. What does Elazer have to do?
Yeah, I will say this game, that random attack of the.
That was random, yeah.
Yeah, the random attack right before any upgrade was done. Also, losing his 4th base multiple times to those Banshees. Like, it wasn't drone damage, but that was 2 cancels in a row, but just slowing down the whole progress as well. And normally with Ling Bane only, you kind of feel that that's a good defensive setup, but it still felt like, oh my god, I'm immediately on the back foot. I can't get anything done. So, yeah, it's a rough one, though that was the much more difficult map in the pool for Zergs going up against Terran. But it will be 2K Atmosphere. This is a far more common map for these two to duke out on. This is where Elazer needs to shine, though. No more mistakes can be made. He needed to still win 3 maps at the start of the series, but now we can't afford to drop 1. And spawning over in the bottom left as our red Zerg of 2K Atmosphere, it is Elazer.
Up 2-0, looking to continue a day of domination from the favorites. It is Clem on the planche. The blue turn at the top right-hand side.
I love your what's the word? Your what's your confidence with saying names?
Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I think my confidence comes from just my accent, right? Like, because I have an accent, I can't mess anything up.
That's like that. I mean, feeling that you can't mess anything up, that is confidence in itself.
Yeah.
You see me when I say everything, I'm just like, wow, I'm gonna mess up a lot.
Because you're English, Ben. The expectation for you is to speak perfectly. The expectation for me is not. See? So I can just say whatever.
Wow. Now that you've put it like that, it's a lot of extra pressure on me.
I mean, yeah. I mean, English people are, it's in the name, right? Like, what language are we speaking?
I thought you were going to say English people are, and then like some kind of insult. And I was like, yeah, you're totally right, man. Screw those guys. Anyhow, this game starting off kind of like the others did. Clem loves this opening, man. And this is kind of why I was surprised that in other TVZs that we've been seeing, that even though you have such a great, like a masterclass TVZ in your region that has made the top dogs, such as like Serrals and Reynos, kind of worry a little bit. And by worry a little bit, I mean, Clem won quite a few of the European regionals last year, which was super scary and well done by him. But this just feels like the go-to TVZ opener. And by opener, I mean like literally within the first 2 minutes, just because it ticks all the boxes, means you're not going to die to anything, and overall, I just love it.
Yeah, so I guess you're assuming that we're going to see a Banshee follow-up to this?
I'd imagine so. There was a period of time where Clem kind of brought back Liberator, and then it was like, he made it work so damn well, and I was like, can you really micro Widowmines and Liberators, like, any more than what you... And Clem was just like, Ben, shut up. Just watch me. And then he just did it. And it was all the repositioning that was really good. But I really do feel that if you are in Clem's shoes, you 2-0 up doing Banshee, you might as well stick with it.
Yeah, that Reaper getting a little bit close to dying there. One more shot from the Queen would have done it. So Clem testing the waters there. Not sure. I think he would have still needed at least 2 shots, but maybe just 1. Can you kill the Cryptover with 1 shot as soon as it starts?
Yeah, I believe
that's what he was looking for, yeah.
And that's always a wounder if your opponent does that and gets away with it. Yeah. But with the 2 queens here, it's a bit trickier to do, obviously. The tracking of the queens as well, you can kind of get a shot off as it's running away, and it still hits with both the spines, because they have like 2 attacks, obviously, against ground. But Elazer's doing a good job of just not missing a beat here. Hasn't lost a Ling even, right? Which is good for him. Yeah. Already a better start than what he had in like the first map and such.
For sure. I mean, he gets away with both of the creep tumors being as far possible as they can be for the start, which is really nice. A lot of Zerg players, especially against the likes of Clem, will tuck their creep tumor a little bit further in just to make sure that it goes in or that it goes up. But Elazer really making the best of it for the time being. Good perimeter already set up as well. And we do have indeed Benny, the first Banshee, and Cloak on the way on the side of Clem. A nice scout from Elazer just to confirm that nothing out of the ordinary is going on. And maybe he'll get a bonus SCV for his troubles as Clem tries a little bit too hard to save it. Pulls 2 SCVs and repairs it. But it wasn't enough.
Actually, a really nice scout by Elazer as well. Not only did he get the SCV, he got confirmation that there's a third CC there with his vision. So really big for him, just to make sure that he's not up against anything too jazzy and fancy, such as like a 2-base all-in. Granted, it is Clem, and he is fairly predictable in this matchup, but that does not make him any easier to beat. Still, nice to get confirmation.
For sure. These Hellions are gonna, I was gonna say going up that ramp is a little bit sketch. Clem is gonna think better of it, but only as he sees the queens. Maybe otherwise he would have just gone for it. Instead, he will angle towards the right side here. Just pokes in, sees that there's plenty of creep, will back away. But in all this repositioning, I mean, there's a lot of room for Elazer perhaps to continue to spread creep as soon as Clem leaves. I think Clem is just kind of going back and forth, looking for those active creep tumors to do their job.
Absolutely. Like he's just posturing, right? And if he sees his opponent out of position, he's going to pounce. But the amount of creep tumors that he's picking off and just slowing down this spread, he's doing a really good job of just being a proper nuisance. And when you see it like this, it's like, okay, how do you get the creep spread going? And it's really hard because he's knocking them all apart.
So difficult. Elazer with wonderful positioning on the queens here is going to deflect those banshees right away as they try to poke onto the third base. They are not in the position this time around to cancel the fourth, and maybe Elazer would do good to take one of his spores over there just in case they angle towards that. But he will have plenty of a heads up now as there's, again, a very nice Overlord perimeter set up. So the banshees are not as successful as in either of the games prior so far. One of them very bruised up already too.
Yeah, Elazer actually did a really good job of deflecting the Banshees at his forward third base. And this game, so different to Curious Minds. He's got his fourth base uncancelled, and he's starting his fifth base as well. He does go for quite a fast lair, so he gets that bailing speed on the way. But different to a lot of Zergs, I suppose, when he gets this going, he gets the 1-1 started pretty early with it. Or maybe the bailing speed is just a little bit later. I'm not sure what he does exactly with his build, but he's getting everything. Burrow as well for future bailing speed. He isn't committing to a Spire or a Hydralisk Den. He's just full on about Ling Bane this game.
Yeah, and like you said, that's oftentimes the easier setup to defend with, but in spite of that, Clem managed to break him last time around. Bailing speed is about 95% of the way done, so Elazer surely wants to wait for that. Clem trying to apply extra pressure as Elazer gets set up to go for a counter attack. There's a bunker here, but it's empty. And Elazer actually goes for the tanks around. Perhaps it would have been wiser to go after the Marines first or with the brunt of the links. But he will get both bounties regardless. 2 SCVs as well to follow. Not too bad at all from Elazer. Not particularly good either, as that was a good chunk of links. And on the other side, there's Hellbats, but this time around, Bailing Speed is ready.
I love how Clem's doing these fights, man. Just everything he does makes it so hard for Elazer. Like, he's not committing to the creep, or not committing on the creep even. He's just keeping the creep at bay. And this signals to me where Clem wants to take future fights. It wants to be over here. He doesn't really care about too much on the rest of the map, but he's just so methodical about what his goal is, and it's just to keep that creep spread back so he can take command and fire at any point over on this right side. And all the trades so far, I'm holding my breath here. They've been pretty damn good for Clem. Even these little cleanups.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of Banelings onto Hellbats that are spread out, basically. They're not really, taking a lot of shared damage with each other, and that means Elazer's not trading efficiently. If we look at the resources lost tab, many people might be surprised to find that it's Clem twice as efficient already as Elazer.
Elazer was behind in the 1-1, just finished, and he starts up his 2-2 immediately. Clem has taken a fourth base, and the little SCV transfer does allow him to see, hey, you got some Banelings over there, so there is a Baneling drop this game.
Oh, this mine!
Oh my goodness. The amount of damage that these mines are doing is oh, and another one, another 7 supply.
Yeah, another couple of Banelings exploding onto just the 2 Marines. On the other side, this medevacs continue to be relentless. This is the third queen that's about to fall. The Spore is actually going to help quite a bit there and force the lift up against those Zerglings, as the Marines cannot fight in range of the Spore. A couple of Banelings get picked off before the rest of the Marines have to be evacuated from the side of Clem. So yeah, non-committed trades over and over, but masterfully done for Clem, are going to net him a 30 supply advantage at the end of the day. And I mean, that's insane.
Look at the resources of Elazer, by the way. I'm just looking at all these hatcheries, like a few of them only just getting the injects going. So that larvae count
Jeez.
absolutely diminished. He took out so many queens here, and Elazer up to 2k minerals. In fact, it's just skyrocketing here. He cannot make units. 2.3k. He's trying to get damage done, which he will. Looks like Clem did forget about this Overlord, or it's just the perfect timing by Elazer. But the thing is, what's he doing with his resources?
Yeah, the Banelings are finally gonna connect onto some mines, but the rest of them don't connect onto anything. And this is looking like another dominant series from Clem here. It's looking like a 3-0 already, and it doesn't feel like too much has happened, but he has just carved himself an advantage through this masterful trading over and over again. It feels like every mine has a life of its own here, Ben.
I mean, it really does. Like, yeah, you know when they talk about MOBAs, how it's like one person in each lane? It feels like Clem, just each mine has a player on its own using it, because it's just ridiculous how good these connections have been. And Clem takes out the what was 4th/5th base. Elazer's still on 4 bases, so he's still not totally out, and he's still got quite a bank to use. The thing is, Clem's all over him. He's taking a 5th base behind this.
Yeah, I mean, this medevac is like piloted by Tom Cruise or something. It's just like every one of these units is getting maximum value while he's still macroing behind it. Like an absolute madman. You talk about the bank of Elazer. Clem's bank is non-existent this entire time. Big bailing mine. All right, that's something. 3 more of those, Ben, and we're back.
3 more of those, and he might be onto something. And oh, look at this. Clem rallied to the wall here, gets a clean up on these Lings. The Lings are getting into the 3rd base of Clem, but Clem's just... he's too good. He's too good this game. Look at Elazer's bank as well. Again, getting up to 2k minerals, 0 gas, basically. And Clem, he did spot these Lings getting away, cleans up the Baneling attempt on the right side as well. And Clem getting the upgrades going. Tier 3 upgrades on the way. Doesn't get easier before it gets worse for Elazer. Oh,
it really doesn't. And yeah, I mean, his bank, you said it. Elazer maybe taking the map a little bit too serious there. 2k atmospheres, of course, and it's not looking bueno, Ben. You just what is there to say? I mean, more of the same over and over. It's Clem just absolutely hammering Elazer.
Clem even went for the double sensor tower, you know, kind of signaling that, hey, we're on 2k. I'll get 2 sensor towers on the same spot. That's a lot
the
of
way. I mean, yeah. That is a lot of Ling Bane, but Clem is super ready for this, seemingly. He's gonna have to get caught off guard, and he hasn't all series yet. Here's good splits towards the tail end, and there's mines everywhere. I mean, he can really run all the way back to a mine setup that's just there just in case, and he seems to have a lot of those, right? Like at his 3rd triangle, he had that bunker, he had the tank. It's not like he's even taking a lot of risk by taking his entire army all the time or something like that. He's just trading so well with whatever he has out that he continues to carve this advantage while not being at any risk back at home.
And that's the thing. He just hasn't been taking any damage whatsoever. Elazer's bleeding out at this point, and everything that we're looking at over the past 5 minutes has just been really good for Clem. And look at this. He's making Elazer just die. He's melting all over the shop. Resources lost tab again. 23k versus 13k. And
yeah.
A little burrowed Bane there does a little bit of damage, but Elazer's 200 supply against 100. Elazer's dead.
Oh, it's super over, yeah. I mean, yeah, there's no way to spin this one, Ben. A lot of Banelings are going to be morphed here. 2 of them will try to connect. 1 Marine screams. But that is all that Clem's going to give him. Elazer has to GG out. Clem with a little smile. And yeah, Elazer, stoic as ever.